Remember that show you used to watch when you were young? The one that you vaguely know, but from time to time it worms its way back into your brain. The one you used to watch every day once you got home from school, or you would wake up at dawn on a Sunday to watch. This show is nothing but a foggy memory bobbing in a sea of other memories, waiting for the day you strike and reel it back up to your subconscious. Were you an Angel Hare child? Welcome back to Telespace, the best program around exploring the creepy and the macabre. As always, I'm Errol and I'll be your host. Analog horror is an interesting beast to tackle. I wouldn't be the first to say that the genre is riddled with copycats and clones, with hardly anyone doing anything creative outside of what has already been established by the likes of Mandela, Catalogue and Local 58. So when my co-writer Diana showed me this series, of course my first thought was to write it off as another attempt at the analog horror genre. However, I was pleasantly surprised to find a charming and extremely well animated series presenting interesting characters and at times outstanding visuals. I will be breaking down 6 tapes, then ending on a theory of what really happened. So follow me as we dive straight down the rabbit hole of Angel Hare and try to piece together what really happened. If you haven't already, please check out Angel Hare. The East Patch put so much into the series and deserves so much love and support on their future projects. Links to everything will be in the description below, so go watch Angel Hare first and then come back and see what I have to say. Alright, everyone's gone? Let's get into season 1.
My name is Angel Gabby. What's yours? That's a beautiful name. It's wonderful to meet you, and I hope we can be friends.
Season 1 starts simple, following our main protagonist Jonah in a Mandela Catalogue inspired text-on-screen spiel. Each tape is fairly easy to follow as Jonah uncovers missing memories of his past and rediscovers the beloved children's show from his youth, Angel Hare. Tape 1 starts with Jonah rediscovering Angel Hare in a thrift shop. Wanting a healthy dose of nostalgia, he brings the tape home but soon learns that it isn't exactly the same as he grew up with. Both tapes start off fairly simple, with friend Frances calling Angel Gabriel down from her home in the clouds asking if she could teach him how to make friends. Similar to many other children's shows, Angel Gabby introduces herself and then pauses for the audience to answer, but on Jonah's tape, she answers him back.
Fear should never control you, Francis. I'll show you how to meet someone new. First, you introduce yourself and ask them to do the same. Hello there. My name is Angel Gabriel. What's yours? It's wonderful to meet you, Jonah. I hope I can be a good friend to you.
He soon compares the tapes and sees how both have very different lessons being taught, with some being more catered towards him, while the other tape being catered towards a general audience. At the time, he thought the main character's name was called Jonah, which he found special because that's his name. But this leads to him asking more questions and how he can't remember his past. Tape 1 is introductory, presenting a question of why are these tapes different and what is really up with this children's show, along with how Jonah does not remember anything from that time period. Memory is a large theme throughout this series, so keep that in your pocket for later. Tape 2 continues on from Tape 1 with Jonah's search for more information about the show, company and other possible versions of the series, to not much avail, with his only lead being KP Publishing, a company which would repackage children's media, however went bankrupt in the late 90s, and the original publisher, Reef of Life, not really existing. Returning back to the tapes, episode 2 carries on with messages of strength and fortitude in trying times. Gabby's messages get worrisome when she starts teaching him how to prop up a chair against a door and to hide in a cupboard to be safe. Jonah starts recounting how he thought it was luck that she always knew what he needed. However, in reality, Gabby was really trying to protect Jonah from him, with Jonah explaining,
Even if he finds you.
Tape 3 opens with Jonah thinking back on what his mother said when he was younger. These worries, however, don't stay long, as he believes his search will clear up everything once he gets answers. Looking at episode 3, Jonah finds that Gabby is breaking character midway through the episode, asking a young Jonah to nod once if he isn't coming back for a while. This is where Gabby asks him to take something off the table very carefully. Gabby is worried for Jonah's safety throughout the exchange, even though she is asking him to do something very risky by dismantling and hiding this object.
I want you to take that off the table very carefully, only holding the handle. It might be heavy. Use both hands. Can you hold it up so I can see what kind it is?
The object is never outright shown to the viewer, but many have speculated it could be a gun. Due to how Gabby said it would be incriminating if Jonah was to be found with the object on him, to hold it by the handle and show her what type it is. It is here where we also learn that Jonah's mother wasn't around a lot due to how much Jonah spent communicating to Gabby and how he was able to fully dismantle and subsequently hide a weapon like this without her knowing. Jonah's communication with Gabby isn't malicious, which is where the series differs from others. She's here to help Jonah through his struggles, to be his guardian angel in times of need. Tape 4 presents lessons of forgiveness and honesty. Jonah is at conflict throughout this episode, opening with
although I love you, it's goodbye.
The tape continues with the VHS copy of Gabby telling off Francis for taking one of her angel feathers without her permission. He apologizes and a lesson is learned about lying and forgiveness, but on Jonah's tape, she is very different. Instead of accepting Francis's forgiveness, she tells Jonah that not everyone should be forgiven and starts creating an alibi for him. She continues this time, replacing the Bible proverbs seen in the original tape with a scribbled on Revelation.
Revelations warns us of the place prepared for liars. It's up to you, Jonah. What would you like me to do?
Tape 5 has Jonah going back home under false pretenses, believing this might be where he can find answers. While looking in the attic, he was able to find many childhood memories in an old box locked away. From childhood drawings of Gabby, a shirt, some more series recorded tapes, and other miscellaneous items like books around anger management around children. Throughout the tape, there is cut footage of child behavioral tapes going over how children could learn violence from television and aggression from a young age. These are also played alongside letters from Jonah's mother writing about the whereabouts of Angel Hare. In these letters, you can see how obsessive she becomes trying to find this children's show, going after any lead she could through writing to the broadcaster and KP Publishing. Showing in the letter from Keith Publishing, she ended up getting a cease and desist due to her legal ways of getting into contact with the owner. The letter ends with them saying this would be the best way to protect her son. When it comes to these behavioral tapes, it could be believed that Jonah's mother, as she is a doctor, probably thought that the show was a negative influence on him due to how Gabby helped him create an alibi and how her now ex-husband mysteriously disappeared. In one of the TikToks, which was uploaded alongside this episode, she is shown burning his drawings of Gabby, most likely thinking this is the best way for them both to forget the past, possibly taking what KP Publishing said to heart and trying to protect her son from going down the same rabbit hole as she did. However, Jonah is too far in to give up now, wanting to know what they did. Jonah finally figures out that the only way Gabby was able to speak was through a live broadcast, so feeling a little desperate and not exactly sure if this idea would work, he decides to live stream the tapes to a little unknown platform called Twitch. After booting up the stream and waiting, Jonah finally sees Angel Gabby again. She is unsure about who he is at first, but after he tells her his name, she breaks the confines of her animation rig, and becoming the most fluid looking animation in the series, she puts her hand on screen greeting him warmly.
Remember me?
I'm so happy to see you, Jonah. Just look how well you've grown.
With that, season 1 comes to an end. However, a cheeky little after credits shows that there might be more.
Angel Gabby.
Hey there, folks. I'm Diana, and I'll be reading your lovely letters as Errol is off recording another one of their videos somewhere. Here's a cool question from a name that I will not pronounce. Why does Errol always carry on a dial-up phone? Well, I'm not exactly sure. I've never heard from the other line before, but the one time I was in a room when they picked up, all I could hear was static on the other end. If you ask me, Errol should upgrade to a smart device already. Get with the times. Our next question is, where are you? It's just... Well, look at the time. That's all the questions we have for today, folks. Don't forget to keep writing in those letters, even though in this day and age, who even writes out letters anymore? Errol loves to read them. Don't you, Errol?
I have no idea what I just watched, but on to the bonus tapes! Throughout both series, there are bonus tapes created, presenting a lost media for both Angel Hare and Wild Hare. These would be hand-picked asks from the viewers, which were intended for the respective hosts, but read by Francis and Francine. This wasn't that lore-heavy, mainly being there to present viewer interaction, but still a very cute way of asking questions to those characters, even though it was only the sidekicks answering. This series wasn't that major when it came to the story, so I was debating where I should put it. I recommend watching these. Diana and I had a lot of fun. They're just some of the greatest parts of the show.
Well, Gabby likes to spend time with her friends when she's not busy, no matter what the activity is. Though, to be honest, her scrapbooking leaves a lot to be desired.
After a year break, Angel Hare returned with a short, fairly comedic Easter special around how to paint eggs, based on one of those tapes Jonah had recorded when he was younger. Throughout the short, Angel Gabby tries to help a young Jonah who keeps on making a mess and accidentally dyeing his hand, while also juggling in an ever-growing worrisome of creepily painted eggs from Francis. Jonah reminisces on how Gabby was so patient with him throughout it all, saying,
Angel Gabby! Oh, Angel Gabby!
While Jonah waited patiently for Gabby's arrival on his livestream, it soon becomes apparent she is nowhere to be seen, leaving the Easter special on a cliffhanger and readying a mystery for Season 2. Season 2 takes a large tonal shift, leaning towards a more unsolved mystery with a very linear angle compared to Season 1. So I won't be doing a deeper dive into it compared to the other section. I won't do a full run through of the story, only what I think are important elements of my theory later on. So if you haven't already, please check out Season 2, I highly recommend it. As it outshines Season 1 with its creativity and mystery aspect, I will not be doing it justice, so go watch it right now. Please, do it. Come on. Season 2 starts off where the Easter special left off with Gabby missing. Jonah keeps the livestream running non-stop, hoping that maybe she might reappear to no avail, until one day a new angel descends from Gabby's home amongst the clouds. Disgusted at this new hare, Jonah tries his best to speak to this angel with not much luck. Angel Zag doesn't listen to him, instead continuing the show. This plan is thwarted when Jonah threatens to turn the livestream off, which gets Zag's attention.
Let's follow the stream. And you're the one airing this? You aren't at a TV station. How are you doing this? Are you able to record? Why did you put the show back on? Are you with Reith?
It is here we find that Zag is trying to find Gabby. We find that Zag is just like Gabby, being from a show called Wild Hare, a detective film noir where each episode Zag solves mysteries and uncovers crime. It is here we also learn that Angel Hare wasn't the only show that Reef of Life possibly made, as the characters know each other and can move between shows, changing form to fit the art style and setting. This is seen in Francis' vision. Originally a biblical drawing becomes a newspaper in Wild Hare, helping Zag to understand where Gabby possibly went. Wild Hare could be the oldest show Reith had made, as it runs on a reel compared to Angel Hare, which was on a VHS tape. This season takes the viewer on a journey, showing how big the reach of these angels are, with the possibility of more shows of being under the belt of Reith of Life pictures, along with the problem of Gabby stretching herself too thin, trying to help others all over the internet. It helped to present world building and introduce one of the best characters in the series, yes, I'm talking about Zag, with ending on a pleasant note with room to add more if the East patch wanted to in the future. So you finally finished Angel Hare. Now I know what you are asking, dear viewer. What does it all mean? Well, do I have an in-depth explanation for you? Just a footnote before I go through and explain my thoughts, the series is very up to viewers' interpretation. There are many times where the series doesn't actually explain what happens. Take this more as what we interpreted the story as instead of the be-all truth. If you interpreted the story differently, please tell me in the comments. I am really interested in hearing what others have to say about the series. I really like it, it's great. At its core, the series is about escapism and nostalgia. Memories of a time long forgotten, which you can vaguely remember, but once you start consuming that media again, aspects start coming back to you. Angel Hare is a comfort for Jonah, something that brings him back to his childhood. He wants the comfort that he got through the show when he was younger again. The series really plays on our concept of collective nostalgia and pushes for the want of comfort. The first tape presents the question, were you an Angel Hare child? Something I had asked at the beginning of this episode, and for a split second you might have thought to yourself, that show sounds very familiar, but how could it be? That show was never real. Memories are fascinating because they are the most unreliable. They are presented through rose-tinted glasses, showing the world as a simpler and calmer place. This is why many find themselves rewatching shows or playing video games from their childhood, as it brings back memories of this time, a time when they didn't know anything outside their little bubble. Jonah's want to bring back Gabby comes from a need to remember, but also to feel comfort once more. He wants to be reunited with this old friend so he can get answers to also feel safe. Jonah's story is of repression and abuse, finding comfort in Angel Hare as a way to escape. His father was the cause of his abuse, which is why, without him realizing, Jonah turned to Angel Gabby for help. It isn't directly stated what happened to Jonah's father, but could possibly believe that he is completely out of the picture after Gabby's intervention. Most see murder due to Jonah looking into incident reports in tape 4, along with it being implied in tape 3 that Gabby showed Jonah how to dismember and hide a gun. However, I feel that he just disappeared one day due to some influence that Gabby had on the family, and the gun could have possibly been there to mislead the audience. Gabby is his guardian angel through the story, not something Jonah nor the viewer should fear, unlike many of the characters in this genre, which is why I believe Gabby's influence is only strictly within the minds of others, only being able to interact with our world through speaking and seeing what is happening through the screen. After the disappearance of Jonah's father, Jonah most likely told his mother in an unfiltered childlike way what happened, leading his mother down a rabbit hole of uncovering what this company was really showing her son. In tapes 5, it is shown how his mother looked into anger management for Jonah and how violence on television could affect him. Possibly scared by what the show was telling her son, she tried her hardest to speak to KP Publishing along with the broadcaster to understand more about Angel Hare, but instead got a cease and desist. Deciding that the show messed up her family, which is shown on TikTok with some cut footage of her burning drawings he had made as a child, she hid Jonah's Angel Hare merchandise and pretended nothing happened. Season 2 is very linear, so there isn't much up for interpretation. However, it does introduce the possibility of other projects that Reef of Life Productions could have made, and how, before Jonah came along, there was someone else on the outside helping Gabby, which Jonah takes the place of at the end of Case 6. However, this show is still full of mysteries left to be unsolved, such as what was WOF Pictures. It appears at the top of Wild Hare and in one of the notebooks that Jonah found in his mother's attic, so could it possibly be in a defunct version of Reef of Life Productions or something else? There is also the mystery of the third angel, which is pictured with Gabby and Zag, seen in letters with Angel Gabby, along with being in a photograph in the background of the Wild Hare office. Along with, what are Zag and Gabby really? What really are their shows, and how do they see beyond the screen? Of course, they may never be answered, but it's still really nice to see unsolved mysteries still presented in this series. Angel Hare is able to do what many analog horror shows can't, hook me only within the first season. Angel Hare isn't horror. It takes the creepy aesthetic of analog and pushes it towards a mystery, which I am very happy with. I found the second season more enjoyable, apart from having the best character ever, but because it was willing to do something different and explore the universe they had established. Sitting through the first season, I thought it would just be another analog horror series, but through clever camera work, using platforms such as Twitch as ways to communicate with the characters, multiple monitors to present different environments in that universe, humorous writing, and at times stellar animation, I feel like the series was able to change my opinion about the analog horror genre. Season 2 takes a large tonal shift compared to Season 1, which really left a lot of information up to interpretation. This is also the season which takes away many of the tropes you could find in other analog horror projects, leaning towards a mystery aspect than outright spooks. For me, this was a refreshing switch up for the genre, as most of it has been taken up by tropes which have outstayed their welcome. Angel Hare feels like it was able to juggle the line of wanting to present a story over trying to make something creepy, and while I enjoy horror, it's nice to see a series which takes a wholesome turn. In an age where everything is considered scary or a part of the horror genre, sometimes it's a welcoming sign to see a project not take that direction. These projects are so far and few between due to how much horror is in this genre. It's very sad that these projects don't get the recognition that they deserve. Creators behind Angel Hare Eastpak have of recent been able to grow thanks to people covering and finding their series. I hope for more projects to be able to get this spotlight in the future, because under the copycats and clones there are many creators with interesting and creative work not seen by the masses. Angel Hare was able to put a spin on overused tropes while bringing something new to the table for this genre. Even though the series isn't horror, I feel we should be seeing more of these types of projects. This genre has always been around horror, and that isn't a bad thing. However, much like the analog horror subgenre, it has become oversaturated. I have been your host Errol, and thank you for watching. I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.